my name's Ashley Rice.
I'm Lowell Rice.
And welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, we are wearing the same thing as the pomegranate pistachios video. If you've not seen that, I'm going to leave it in a little link up in an eye in that corner. You can go feel free to check it out. But today, you guys, I am so excited because we're going to be talking about a company that I've literally been obsessed with for at least almost 2 years now, I think.
Yeah, we stumbled across them a while ago at Herbivorous Butcher, and you picked up some of it at that time because you're like, hey, maybe this could be a fun thing to try out. And we finally stumbled across them again at VegFest this year and decided to pick up a few of their products to try out. So here we are.
The company is actually called Bee Free Honey, and I've had a few people who didn't know there were honey alternatives for vegans who don't do honey. So this is one that I have literally been obsessed with since I was a vegetarian. So I didn't know anything about bees and why like honey is bad and everything like that, which I hope to do a video on in the future. Literally, I just picked it out because we went to Herbivorous Butcher when I was a vegetarian because they had fake meats, and so I was like, oh, I want to try this place out. And we happened to see some of Bee Free Honey's honey. So we had gotten the original, the maple, and the mint, and I was really intrigued by the mint. That's I think really why we got it.
It wasn't maple, it was elm.
It was elm, sorry. And so we got them and I absolutely loved it. So I have been obsessed with this company since then, and I have not touched honey in like 2 years.
Yeah, so you actually ditched that one before you did the rest of the transition to vegan.
Yep. Honey, I think, is pretty easy to transition out of just because I think there's a lot of great alternatives, and I think this is one of them.
Not to mention, we honestly weren't using that much of it before.
I was not obsessed with honey beforehand anyways, so I did not feel bad giving it up, you know. So really quickly about Bee Free Honey, the main thing about this guy here is this actually made from apples. I've noticed a few other Bee Free Honeys also do that, and I love that they like include facts on their jars as well. So for instance, it says it takes about 1,000 bees to make 1 pound of raw honey. By using apples instead of bees, we save 7,500 bees per jar. They also donate 10 cents for every jar sold to pollinator-friendly organizations to generate awareness about pollinator conservation. And then it also says, at Bee Free Honey, we decided it was time for a company to actually do something about saving the bees, rather than talk about it. So we developed Bee Free Honey, the first of its kind plant-based new method sweetener made from apples. No hives required. Same thick, sweet viscosity that cooks and bakes with no recipe adjustments necessary. And that is very true. Like, we've used Bee Free Honey before and it like works so beautifully.
We did it for a fruit salad at Easter this last year, right?
We did, yep.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know really what goes on for the production of honey, I'm going to leave a few links down below. I am hoping to do a video for my V2B vlog this month about that, just giving my thoughts, how I researched it, how my thoughts are on it, so you can also look for that in the future. And that is mostly due to the fact that Maggie and Mike requested that I do a video talking about that. But let's talk a little bit more about these guys. So I'm going to grab the slippery elm one, and I'm just going to quickly read off the nutrition facts.
I will cross-check it with the other two.
So 1 serving size is 1 tablespoon. And that is going to be 60 calories. Total carbs is going to be 16 grams. Dietary fiber, 0 grams. Sugar, 16 grams. Protein, 0 grams. And you're getting 3% of your calcium and 4% of your iron.
Yep, it's the same across the board.
There you go. At VegFest this year, we picked up 3 different flavors. We picked up the original, which I've already been tapping into a bit here. We also picked up the slippery elm. These are both ones we have tried before. And then we picked up a different one this year.
Yes, and this one is for me because one of the reasons I was still using regular honey is I have pretty bad seasonal allergies, and getting something that has the local pollen in it is helpful to kind of reduce the symptoms of that for me. And so I had been trying to work with like local honey from local beekeepers as much as possible, but this is pollen-infused Bee Free Honey, and I'm curious to see if this will do the trick well enough for me, in which case I could probably switch over.
So instead of grabbing the honey from the bees that have pollinated it from the flowers, they actually go straight to the flowers and they just pollinate it that way.
Yeah.
So no bees are harmed or used at all in the making of this.
Yeah, we talked to them at VegFest and they said they work with a company that does the ethical sourcing of the pollen. Yep. Shall we try it?
So I'm thinking we're going to go through each of them.
Yes.
So we can kind of give you the idea of the flavor. We can also show you the consistency.
And since I've had regular honey more recently, I can try and give my best impressions about like how close it gets and what flavor notes might be different.
So this is the regular one. Here's the consistency.
So you can see it's pretty close. Fairly thick and viscous.
I love this stuff. How would you say this compares to like regular honey?
The texture is actually very close. Like, it does a very good job of getting to that same texture and viscosity. Flavor is close. Not 100%, but I'd say like 85, 90%. There's a little bit of a, almost like just a hint of a tartness from the fruit that comes through. So you'll get just a little bit more of the tartness, but considering a lot of the times when you're using honey in a recipe, it often goes with fruit anyways. I don't think that would be prohibitive to using it in cooking or anything.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't really remember at all what honey tastes like, I love the taste of this. There is a little bit of tartness. There's a lot of sweetness. It does coat, for those of you who are singers, it still does coat your vocal cords. So if you are a vegan who's also a singer and you're like, I can't give up honey because it helps me whenever, you know, I have a sore vocal cord or I have a cold or whatever, like this still works as well. I've used it a few times as a replacement for honey for whenever I have a cold or I just need to coat my vocal cords in something. And it works extremely similarly to that. Here's the slippery elm.
So, pretty similar overall. It seems to stick to itself a little bit more than the original does.
It does. I feel like this one is closer to what I remember honey being like.
And a lot of people are very used to honey having a little bit of those flavor notes of the plants that bees get it from. And so I think that's why they made elm one of the flavors, is to give a little bit of that impression. So it's not all just like apple and such.
This is so good. Yum, 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 yum.
It's still got a little bit of that fruity tartness, but I feel like it's smoothed out and blended in a little better in this one.
Smooth out is more what I was thinking too. I also think it has more of like, I don't know if an earthy taste is necessarily what I'm trying to say, but like it kind of reminds me of maple syrup in some ways, but it like not at all at the other time.
So a little bit more of that like tree sugar kind of taste.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because that might be why it's reminding you of maple syrup, because like maple is the main tree that we are used to a flavor of.
Yeah, especially in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. The texture is basically the same. I'm not noticing a lot of texture difference just having it by the spoonful like this.
Nope. Those are ones that we both have tried before, so they're not like new flavors to us or anything. I love both of them. The mint one is also really, really good, but we wanted to only get 3 of them this year. Otherwise, I also would have gotten the mint and I would be sharing that with you. The mint in that one is very subtle.
All right, now for the pollen-infused one.
Oh, this one's a lot less.
Yeah, it seems like a thinner honey. It's interesting.
Yeah, like each of them has had a different consistency.
Yeah, just slight differences.
Oh yeah, this one's a lot thinner. For sure. But still tastes really good.
It's got just maybe a little bit of that, just a hint of the flowery kind of taste that you might expect from something with the pollen in it.
I could definitely see that, yeah.
In the aftertaste, there's a little bit of that, like just a little bit of a floral burst left behind, I would almost say.
Yeah.
And for the pollen-infused stuff, I would tend to just do it by the spoonful rather than having it with something else. Just my personal preference on it. Take it like a medicine rather than trying to do it elsewise. Yeah. It definitely still has that tartness.
I would say all of these have, like, obviously, you know, one unifying flavor, but then how the aftertaste is, or the initial taste, does vary depending on which flavor you get. I think this one is more for the nutritional benefits of honey, because that was the other reason why they pulled it from the pollen. That was the actual reason they decided to make this one, is because they wanted the nutrition from honey without, you know, using actual honey. So this has the same amount of nutrition that you would get elsewise.
Where is the pollen from again?
It's either from, I think, Idaho.
I thought it was Ohio.
Oh, maybe it's that. It was one of those. Let me check here. It doesn't say on here, but I do want to read this. It says, flower pollen-infused bee-free honey? Absolutely. You spoke and we listened. Our flower pollen-infused honey contains non-allergenic and all the pollen nutrition you expect direct from the flower. Compare our flower pollen honey to your local sweetener, and we are sure you'll agree. Bee Free Honey is the perfect sustainable replacement for low heat use on everything. We are excited to bring this to you. Enjoy. For ideas and recipes, visit our website or follow us online. But mostly, you guys, I just wanted to share this company with you because I am obsessed with them. I absolutely love it. I think it tastes amazing. It works beautifully in different ways that you might use it, whether it's adding honey to your tea or using it in a recipe or just having it by the spoonful. I think it works beautifully, and I have been obsessed with this company for a really, really long time.
A thought as well, since we're talking about bees, just a gentle reminder that if you do have bees, especially pollinating ones, on your property or your house somewhere, do not call an exterminator. Call a beekeeper.
Yep.
You can certainly look up which beekeepers are more humane than others, but call a local beekeeper and they will come and give those bees a good home rather than just killing them off.
We just need to make sure that we're taking care of bees because, like, if they go, we go. No, we all gonna die.
There's a few steps in between, but you get the gist.
If you see Bee Free Honey, you guys, I definitely recommend trying it out. Even if you're not vegan, it's just like a fun thing to try out. Think of it that way. It's not like you have to like convert or anything. It's just like something fun to like have at home, try out, see if you really, really like it. Because I fell in love with this before I knew anything about honey and like why it's not great. So like, it's just a good product.
Mm-hmm. And for those who haven't visited the channel before, I am not vegan.
Yes.
I'm just trying these out because I like trying new stuff, and so like all these opinions are coming from somebody on this side who just is curious.
Yeah. You like trying new foods. So that is everything. I hope you guys liked this video. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this something you would be willing to try? Is this something that just like scares you? Apples, come on, they're crazy. Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, if you are new to my channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.